Now, the governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, has called for thorough investigation into the circumstances which led to the death of 2 students of the state university, leaving 23 others seriously injured on Friday. And the students were said to have lost their lives while scrambling for a 7.5 kg bag of rice, each donated to the students as palliatives to cushion the effect of hunger by the state government. And the deceased students, whose identities remain undisclosed, died as a result of the stampede at the Nasarawa State University convocation ground in Kefi. Now, the governor has gone ahead to commiserate with the university authorities while asking the deputy governor of the state, Emmanuel Akabe, to actually ensure that he goes on a fact-finding mission, especially to those students who sustain injuries. And of course, I will be reading what he said. He said, "I pray their souls rest in peace. Our thoughts and condolences go to their families and friends at this moment of grief. These young people's lives cut short at their prime under such circumstances is painful." And he went ahead to say that this program was successful in other tertiary institutions within Nasarawa State, except for the unfortunate incident that happened where some of these students were being given 5,000 naira alongside 7.5 kg bag of rice at the Nasarawa State University in Kefi before the unfortunate scenario happened. Well, joining us in the studio to provide the university's view over the sad incident is the Information and Protocol Officer of the Nasarawa State University, Fairness-Ekpo. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having us, indicating that I'm here on behalf of the Nasarawa State University. Yeah. I'm speaking on behalf of them. Yeah. And such, I appreciate the concern you have for getting our view.
All right. So just talk to us about what really led to this incident. I'm very sure the university authorities have internal security mechanism for containing this kind of situation. How come we could have several students gathered from Ireland since around 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah. They stayed there up until 9 a.m. in the morning before this sad scenario happened?
No, at the first instance, the provision for the palliative, the rice, which is often referred to as palliative, is a provision for 4,000 students. And anywhere you're going to find 4,000 students, you know it's going to be a large crowd. And as such, in the wisdom of government, through the Office of the Commissioner for Humanitarian, felt it should be distributed at the same point so that nobody will cut corners. There will be fairness and equity. Everybody will queue up, get what belongs to him as expected. But anxiety, came up because the rice for Kefi was brought to Kefi on Wednesday, assembled, distributed according to the way they give out the palliatives in our convocation arena. So you see, it was there from Wednesday, and the indication or the information from government was that the distribution would take place on Thursday the following day. It was shifted to Saturday. Then in the evening of Wednesday, information came that the distribution would take place the following day, that is Friday morning. And so the anxiety moving from a date to another, curiosity whether it's going to take place that same day or not.
Thursday
yes.
Friday.
So on hearing that, students who were identified to benefit assembled themselves as early as possible. But let me put the record straight that there are lots of persons who were there 2 a.m. in the morning on Friday who, from our preliminary investigation, shows that they are not our students. Nasarawa University is bordered by lots of communities around, and you have young lads who also stay there, and the condition of time now, they also try to take opportunity of the presence of the palliatives to also come and benefit.
So how did they gain entry into the university? I think you have internal security arrangements.
We have internal security, but you see, if you watch the video very well, the number of persons that came into the university, it would take a battalion of well-armed security men to curtail the number and the strength they have. They came in their numbers. We made provision of armed civil defense armed squad. They were present. When we realized that the situation was getting out of hand, we invited the military, the 177 battalion that is resident in Kefi.
That's before the incident
happened? Before the incident happened. They came around 5:36. But by 7, when the crowd was much, and the military with their, combatant approach to issues, realized that this is a university community. And with this crowd and the agitation, if they confront them, it may lead to something that we may not, the university and the general community might not want. So they retreated and allowed our internal security, the civil defense, and the vigilante that we normally organize if we have such functions to take charge.
All right, now talk to us about the identity of these students who died, and actually how many students died, because there were reports here of 2, some said 7, some said 8, and all of that. And then, of course, what was done to those who got injured also.
Let me also put the record straight that from the records of the Director of Health Services of the University, we lost 2 students, both female. One Grace Daniel, who is a 200 level student of computer sciences, and Evelyn Bala, who is a 400 part-time student. 2 of them female died from confirmations. They died before they were taken to the hospital because of the stampede that took place on them. Afterwards, 23, some of them were unconscious, taken to the hospital. They got recuperated, and as I speak to you, over half of them have gone back to their residence. But on reaching the scene of the accident, the Deputy Governor, by the instructions of His Excellency, was there. He met us in school. He went to the Federal Medical Center that is in Kefi to see those who got injured, courtesy what happened. And he promised there and then that the state government is going to take responsibility of all bills that may accrue to persons who are so injured in that incident.
And the families of those who died, have they been contacted by the university authorities, and what arrangements are you putting in place at the moment? They
have been contacted. The father of the lady who is in 200 level, that is Grace Daniel, came that same day. We had a meeting with him. The university expressed its sadness over what happened, and we exchanged contacts and promised that the university will follow up on all burials arrangement. Will be certainly part of taking care of everything that pertains to the burial. Same with the other deceased person.
And now, a lot of Nigerians are beginning to put the blame at the doorsteps of the university, because I'm told that that convocation square can take more than 4,000 people. So if that's the case, how come the university didn't make an arrangement where people will go in and get seated, and then maybe names are called, you now walk out to go there and collect your palliative, and I lent 5,000 naira to attach to it. Why did you have to keep them outside there? Because I saw the convocation square empty.
You see, the arrangement was done, as I told you, 2 days before that day. And those bags you saw were kept and arranged according to the persons that will benefit. The arrangement was for students to queue up, as you rightly said, to come in and get what is required of them. But see, they came earlier than expected. So all of them were outside, and the number that was that of persons outside was much more to be contended with. So the managers of the program, and to let you know that the program is managed through the Office of the Commissioner of Humanitarian with the understanding
Humanitarian Affairs in
Nasarawa State, with the understanding and cooperation and mobilization of the Student Union Government of the university. We provided logistics for the venue and security.
Yeah, but it was done within your precincts,
yes,
within
yes.
your university.
I'm getting to that. You know, because of the anxiety I mentioned at the first instance and the population of persons came, the managers felt people with disabilities should first be attended to, and that was done. They were mobilized to the convocation arena, got seated, and they started calling numbers of persons who are on the benefit list, who are going to be beneficiaries. While that was done, some persons felt their names are not captured, and they started that agitation that led to this crowd action. You understand? So those who were behind, those who are beneficiaries, started stoning our security personnel.
Okay.
Started stoning. And that was when the military realized that this is an engagement that will not allow them to be part of. So they had to...
The military or the civil defense? Because you said
the military. The military.
Okay.
Had to, the civil defense stayed till the end of the procedure. The military had to retreat back because confronting students inside the university is not part of their engagements. So they had to leave and allow the civil defense and our internal security to take charge. But as you rightly will understand with what we are saying, the population was massive. The persons that were there from our review were close to 5,000. And containing 5,000 persons at a time with what we have on ground, we had little that we could do to actually, curtail what happened.
And you have structures in the university, faculty by faculty, and of course it goes down to departments and, skills down. How come you couldn't use that system? Because people are beginning to question also, including the use of technology. Okay, maybe each faculty will get maybe 100 or something like that, and it may have been much more easier instead of you gathering people here and it just became a free-for-all. I mean, look at the site. People are saying that this is a university environment. It's supposed to be well managed, well organized, structured, and all of that, but it looked like a political campaign ground.
You see, as I mentioned earlier, you should take this straight, that this is a state government program, organized, packaged, midwife, and transferred to students through the Office of the Commissioner for Humanitarian, an NGO of the Nasarawa state government. I'm not putting blames on anybody, but to let you know that we are not part of the arrangement principally. It was done government and the SUG government of Nasarawa state. But to let you understand that it was this same procedure was done at other schools, and they had successes. And I'm sure arising from that, they may think that the same procedure can still work out in Nasarawa state and we won't have what we had. But you see, we have a very large population of students in Nasarawa State University, Kefi. We have over 35,000 students of Nasarawa State University who are students. We have over 10,000 who are residents, either in our hostels or the satellite environment that we have close to, the university. And as I mentioned earlier, we have communities who are also close to us, close to our defense of the university, who are, residents there as well. So as I mentioned, it is not just our students that were there. Yeah,
but there's also a security breach because your own security mechanism within the university refused to follow maybe its protocols, and people from outside are said to have come in, because the governor's statement actually said that the side incident is reported to have occurred when suspected hoodlums and some misguided students forced their way into the school's convocation ground to cut away all of this. How could that happen when you have your own security?
And to let you know that if someone wants to take advantage of an organized setting like this, they came 2 a.m. This program was started by 8-9. They are supposed to be at the convocation arena by 8, assembled by 9, where we were expecting His Excellency to come and do the distribution himself. But they were there at 2 a.m. And to let you know that it was because our students got wind of the fact that there are persons who are not beneficiaries, are already at the convocation arena. So they had to, rise to the occasion to also protect what they feel is their right. And that was
okay, so the student union government could have also been prompted with the desire to ensure that what belongs to students is not actually taken by outsiders.
Very well, very well.
Okay.
Very well.
Now, the state government says it's going to set up a panel to take a look at this, investigating all that happened. How about the university authorities? I mean, what are you doing? Because all of this transpired within your own grounds, though from what you are saying, majority of what happened is actually in the hands of the state government.
When His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, came to the university to have on-the-spot analysis of what happened, he spoke to us of the committee that would be set up by government and directed our Vice-Chancellor that a similar committee should be set up by the university to look at the remote and immediate causes of what happened at the university. And that is done. The committee of the university is headed and led by a professor of criminology, who is a deputy vice-chancellor in the university, Professor Theophilus Lagi, and other members who we know also have good standing. And we're sure they're going to come out with positive results that will forestall any future occurrence.
And the student union government, have you been speaking with them and their conduct, what happened, so as to get their own views?
No, we've been working together with them. Immediately it happened, we all had to come up together to look at what happened at the immediate instance. We got their view of what happened. As I told you, they all knew that some persons want to take over, the process. And so they had to rise to the occasion, come up, invite students to come and queue in to get what belongs to them. But it was quite unfortunate that We have a society where I will not blame anybody for what happened, but it is quite unfortunate and saddened. The university is grieving the loss of very vibrant young persons whose future would have been as bright as any of us.
Yeah, and to think that they died because of just a 7.5 kg bag of rice and 5,000 naira is what's making a lot of Nigerians to be angry about this. And they say, look, we need to actually reform our system. So what lesson do you think that Nasarawa State University is learning from this and to prevent exposure of your students? Because your students are given to you in trust by parents, family members and all of that. These same students were caught up in this sort of political scenario that ended up like a political party campaign rally. So what lessons are being learned to prevent your students from being exposed to similar circumstances?
Like I mentioned, the committee is already on top of the game, trying to look at issues as it relates to what you just mentioned. But I'm aware that as a university, next time there is anything of such, we'll look at details that we provided, either from whichever donor that is bringing such palliatives to the university, so that we bring in our own modus operandi, so that we have a smooth, smooth and detailed engagement, which may not lead to what happened day before yesterday.
Including the use of technology, because people say that since you have the database of all your students, it could have been much more easier for you to know how to do that. What was the level of adaptation of technology within your university in terms of student enrollment, where they are located for things like this to be made much easier next time?
Under the current leadership of present Vice Chancellor Professor Suleiman Bala Mohammed, ICT has been mobilized and maximized to the highest level of engagement in the university. Upon writing JAM, if you indicate Nasarawa State University as your choice, you have to go through our screening, which is done online. You accept online, you pay school fees, do everything online. You print your cards at your instance, very conveniently. And we conduct our exams through CBT for large classes. And we are aware that public universities went on 8 months industrial strike. As such, we couldn't admit one set of candidates who were, had interests in our university. So we had to mobilize both sets for one set. We do one set online and the other physical. So you see, we have facilities that we have cyber optics all over our university. We have one of the largest ICT center in Nigeria university. You can check, you can fact check that, and you get it.
Yeah, but how come you couldn't deploy these technologies to actually? This is irrespective of the fact that it was coming from outside.
Samna, you are getting back to what we have already talked about.
Yeah, I know, but I'm telling you what Nigerians are saying. Yes. That you could have simply have gone faculty by faculty, department by department, and cascaded down to knowing if you are going to have 10, 50 students, and then it just makes it easier if you take some of those palliatives in conjunction with the humanitarian commissioner to one faculty. So you don't need to gather, several people in one spot, and that's the major problem here.
Yeah, it's understood, and your submission on that is quite appreciated. But as I mentioned, it is a state government policy. It was done at another university in Nasarawa State, the Federal University Lafayette, done at the College of Agric, Polytechnic. Ours was supposed to be, I think, second to the last of what His Excellency has for students in Nasarawa State. So this approach was successful elsewhere. The thinking is that it will be successful in Nasarawa State University, but our population, as I said, and the persons we have surrounded or surrounding the university caused the problem we had at the Nasarawa State University's experience. So
the crowd control measures, what effort you put in place to prevent such? Because you are telling me that you have over 35,000 students. That's almost like AB Zaria and all of that. So you have large expanse of land. How do you, intend to learn from this to create, better crowd control measures, especially when you have convocations or similar events, and then to prevent outsiders from coming into your system and then make it look like you're not in charge?
For learning, our university don't get congested because of the population, because of the adaptation of ICT. Most of our students learn online, others physical. They take turns if they are of the same set, and as such, you don't get this kind of population at the same time. And secondly, we also have an ODL center, open and distance learning, where most of our students you learn from anywhere you are at your convenience. And talking about our convocations and whatnot, we have tried as much as possible to avert anything that will cause any upset in our programs all this while. Stretching the last 10 years, we have never had any unrest in the university. We've never had any outbreak of law or order in the university as far as I'm concerned. And this that just happened yesterday, Friday, is quite unfortunate and something that the university is not happy with and grieving for the loss of our students.
All right, just before I let you go, Fairness-Ekpo, are you planning any compensation for those who were injured and all of that, including the dead? No. Or you will be awaiting the outcome of the investigative report?
The reports will come out with a template that the university and government will approach to look at compensation and other measures that the university and government will take to forestall an occurrence of such in any function or program we find ourselves with.
All right, we must thank you so much. Fairness-Ekpo is the head of Information and Protocol at the Nasarawa State University. We must thank you so much for your insight into all of these issues. And then, of course, we'll continue to grieve with the families of those who have lost their lives, these two students, like you have said. Then, of course, we're also grieving with your university. We just hope you put appropriate measures in place, because these are Nigerians who could have become, better citizens in the society. But we must thank you so much for providing these perspectives to the sad incidents which happened on Friday that led to the death of two students because of the sharing of palliatives, which is a bag of rice, 7.5 kg bags of rice, including 5,000 naira to students, and the target was 4,000, as we've been told by our guests here. Unfortunately, the situation got out of hand and there was a stampede. We must thank you so much for being here.